Hello there, and welcome to a new EAFC 25 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. A poor man's road to glory, to be precise. I mean, I know I bought Ultimate Edition, but like I was peer pressured into buying Ultimate Edition. I didn't really want. I was planning on not getting the game, but I've been getting EA FC 25 and FIFA for the past like 15 years, and I haven't stopped. I'm not proud of it really because the game doesn't seem to change much every year, but the new transfers is enough for me apparently. But going to make an Ultimate Team Road to Glory, poor man's Road to Glory, which means like I'm not gonna spend money on the game, but I'm also not gonna spend much time on the game, and I'm pretty average at the game, so I feel like you'll be able to replicate this, and like so I really want it to be relatable because I'm not good at it and I'm not planning on spending much time on it either. I think like it's easy to replicate playing this game, and this is what an average person's like ultimate team would look like. Um the format is going to be 3 videos a week for now. The first two I'm like behind on 2 weeks because I wasn't planning on doing this YouTube stuff, but I'm planning on doing it now. So as long as this lasts, hopefully with the lower amount of time I'm spending on the game, I'll be able to make it to Team of the Year, hopefully. I was also planning to play Football Manager on this channel, and like I would have eased out of FC 25 by playing Football Manager, but Football Manager is now delayed to like I don't know why it is, but it's delayed pretty far into like March next year, I think. So I'm gonna have to just keep playing until then, I guess. But I'll try and keep it up. I'm also gonna be playing career modes on this channel because I'm more of a career mode enjoyer now. Because the last time I played Ultimate Team seriously was like FIFA 17, and that was when Foot Champs had like 40 games, and I was playing those like every week for nearly the whole cycle of that game. So I've been there, done that. This year I'm not gonna play Foot Champs. I'll probably just do rivals and squad battles, like a maximum of like 20 games a week. So like it won't be too much time spent on it. But on Mondays I'm planning on posting the squad battles with probably like this whole thing is gonna be post com. So I'm hoping it's like some podcast type stuff, but also like you get to see the gameplay in the background. But on Mondays it'll be squad battles, and I'll most likely react to the Premier League games that happened on the weekend. Go through each game, what I think of each team, the players in form or something, and so on and so forth. On Wednesdays, it's going to be rivals, and I'll probably just talk about football in general on the Wednesdays, or like a relevant topic, or I might even talk about mainly Manchester United, the club that I support, or I might just finish off on more Premier League stuff if I didn't get to finish it off in the Monday. And on Friday, it's going to be foot drafts and SPCs, packs, rewards, and like upgrading the team. I'm going to try and make it a weekly thing rather than upgrading it as I go along. For now, here and in the first few episodes, I'll probably upgrade as I go along until I get at least a starter team. So here I'm making my starter team. I'm adjusting the tactics. I'm playing a 4-3-3 attack, but I'll probably go through and find out which formation, which tactics I prefer the most. But I will try and stick to a 4-3-3 attack, even though I don't think it's even that much a meta formation anymore. I just like that formation. I like to play how I want to play in FIFA rather than what is actually meta. Even the players I use aren't always meta. But yeah, so Monday squad battles, Premier League talk, Wednesday rivals and general football talk, and then Friday I might add some game show stuff like guess who's, but I don't know because if it's with like the foot draft. But I might also just talk about football during the Friday video too. The other 4 days on the channel will be alternating between a career mode, Manchester United career mode, and a player career mode. I prefer career modes in general to Ultimate Team because I don't find the career modes to get that bored, especially when the football changes every season to season. So there's always a road to glory team to make. Creator clubs always fun every year. In terms of what's changed from last year's FIFA to this year's FIFA, just to at least have a reason of buying the game, like as in like defending myself. I mean, I didn't even know this until I bought the game, to be fair. But it was nice to see that they've actually brought in they've brought in a new rush game mode, and I think it's a good game mode. And but you have to play it with friends. It's a good game mode, but you have to play it with friends. Without friends, you just get a ball hog on your team, and then it really ruins the experience. But it's good for evolutions early on if you don't want it, if you want to try and new game mode, which I did for a while. I think between these episodes, or between part of the episode in the next episode, I did play some rush, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, and it helped evolve. Well, I only played a few games, but if you want to, you can go straight up to using it to evolve your players. It's like 6 minutes. It's like a five-a-side. It's actually pretty fun. It's clubs, but five-a-side. Talking of clubs, in clubs they've actually added facilities now. I know it's not much, but I don't even know how it works. But clubs in general has been all right, but it's a step in the right direction. At least they're getting new mechanics into the game. The club tree, like the skill tree, is similar. It's a bit different, but it's how it has been for the past few years. And I think I think that they should just implement that straight up into player career mode, like the exact same thing, but like stretch it out a bit more so that you have to play a few seasons to actually become high rated on the career mode. And also, I'm not a fan of the cap, or like the cap to the attributes, because if you're making a certain build, you can only get so far in. When I'm gonna play my player career mode, I think I'm gonna find a way to make my own player, put him in the game, and then use him as the real player, so that way I won't have a cap on, because I think you can train all the way to 99 in most of the stats. It'll be like normal training, not like skill points and experience, I don't think. So that's gonna make it better, I think, at least. But with the personalities also, I think that ruins the game. You can't even get playstyle pluses, I don't think. So it kind of limits you, and I don't understand why it would limit you when you would obviously be playing player career mode to become one of the best players of all time, win trophies with different teams, or well, play it how you want to. But in player career mode, they haven't added much, and that's kind of sad to see, because I actually enjoy player career mode the most, because it reminds me of clubs, but it's a bit more chilled out. It's on offline rather than online, so it's not as sweaty, so you can kind of sit back and relax, and you only have to focus on playing as one player. But they didn't add much to player career mode. On the other hand, the manager career mode, they've added, I think, coaches, maybe facilities, I don't know. I think they've definitely added coaches, and they've overhauled the whole system a little bit. Not much change, but the UI looks pretty nice, and I'm looking forward to see what impact the coaches have on development of players. They've made a whole big thing about the tactics overhaul, and I do enjoy the tactics overhaul, but it's quite limited. Like, they stripped the whole tactics and just put this on top. I think they should have tried to combine it. They tried to do something like Football Manager with the roles and such, but on Football Manager you still have individual player instructions that FC 25 did have, but they got rid of it for some reason. And in terms of the team tactics, how the team plays overall, there's no pressing style. The build-up play options are, I think, pretty limited, and they should try and put more instructions to help create more unique ways of actually having a team play, which it doesn't really have. But they're trying something new. I think they can make the game better if they actually flesh it out a bit more. I thought it was going to be fleshed out, but it really wasn't that fleshed out. In terms of the first week of gameplay, like actually playing the game, the passes feel less accurate, and I think they still do after the first week patch. But they got rid of the skill gap a bit. I think it became a bit easier after the first week patch. I don't know if that's just placebo or what, but I felt like it was a bit easier. So they do the same thing they do every year really, and remove the skill gap. And what's still OP is parking the bus and counter-attacking. It's too easy to counter-attack in this game, and breaking someone down who's just sitting in the box is quite hard still. I know I'm not good at it, but it's also just, it's not fun to play the game when everyone's just parking the bus, but that's usually how FIFA goes. So they need to implement something to counter-attacking football. Maybe like the counter press needs to be better, because the AI defending, especially the switching on this game, is poor. But the AI defending, it doesn't make any sense. Nothing intelligent goes on with this AI. Even when making attacking runs, the AI makes runs at the most stupid of times. Like, you won't even have the ball at your feet and they will make a run, and it's way too early, and by the time you try and play the pass, they're offside. But when you have a lot of option, you have a lot of time on the ball, you're dribbling up the pitch, no one actually moves. And in the game that I played, one of the games that I played in my Manchester United career mode that I just recorded, I literally stood still and there was no movement by either team. Everyone was just standing still. So the AI, I don't know how they've had the AI for this long and not mimicked any sort of player movement from clubs or something. There must have been, or must be, a way for the AI to have a better understanding of where to stand, when to make runs, and how to defend. In terms of spacing, I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be. I don't know anything about coding, but after so long, you'd expect it to be much better at least. Well, that's a review of the game entirely. I think you should just wait for it to go on sale if you want to buy it, unless you really want to. I do enjoy the start of Ultimate Team. That's a main reason why I buy the game. At the start of Ultimate Team, you get to build your team from scraps, especially with me, because I do poor man's road to glory all the time. I never spend money on the game. There is the 4.6k FIFA points this year, but I'm actually going to use those on the foot drafts, as I said. Well, I didn't say that, but I'm going to use it on the foot drafts on the Fridays, so that way it's less obvious of getting an actual reward like a pack. You know you're going to get a pack, but with the foot draft you might not even win one game. So in terms of playing the game though, review wise, I think it's similar to last year's, but I think if you enjoy career mode, maybe the manager mode will be better for you. Clubs is actually, at least you got facilities, but like the UI and the overall, the look of the game does look better. Some getting used to, but it does look better. I'm not quite sure if it's worth a full. I don't know how much the game is, but the Ultimate Edition was £90. It was quite expensive. But yeah, hopefully we can make it to Team of the Year at least, and I can keep up actually uploading every day, which I don't know how long that's gonna last, if I'll lose motivation or what. But actually I am doing this for fun right now. I just want to play. I want to play the game and advance, but staggering it out with the Ultimate Team might actually help me play that. But with the career modes, with the career modes, I'm actually looking forward to playing it quite a lot. Okay, speaking of how I'm actually going to sort out these videos, I might as well do some talking about football. This will probably be like a taste of what you'll get on a Wednesday and a Monday. Might even do a few guess who's at the end of this. But I was scrolling on Instagram like a while ago, and I seen that De Gea has been the highest rated goalkeeper across the top 5 leagues this season. And I do know, I also seen this, that he just saved 2 penalties the other day, which, by the way, is like, I'm pretty sure that's 50% of what he done in his whole United career. I don't blame him for the missing penalties. It's literally luck. So if anything, he's just been unlucky. There's still a bit of anticipation and such, but it's mainly luck. If you're going to save a penalty, the favor's always in the attacker, so you can't blame him for penalties. But other than that, he was an elite shot stopper and probably one of the, if not the best keeper in the world at one point. Even with his lack of ball playing skill, I think he'll be effective at any top club, even in the Premier League, any club that's a big club. He's at Fiorentina right now, which isn't, it hasn't, I think it used to be pretty high up in the Serie A a few years ago, but now Fiorentina, I don't think is that big of a club, that that strong at the moment. I think, I don't really follow Italian football, but I don't think Fiorentina is that strong right now. It just takes me back to Manchester United getting rid of him for what I see as no reason. They brought in Onana, who hasn't really done anything, especially from a ball playing goalkeeper side. That's what he was bought for, and he hasn't done any. His distribution has been poor. It hasn't been anything special. If anything, De Gea's was just as good. It's not just the fact that he actually got sold or like he got released, it's the way that it happened. They promised him a new contract, and he went on holiday, and then they just decided they were going to release him. I see De Gea as a legend of the club, and getting rid of him like that is very disrespectful. He was in the Premier League winning team with Fergie, and I think for a long time he was the only Premier League winner at Manchester United, winning the Premier League at Manchester United, in that Manchester United team for quite a long time. I don't know who is to blame for getting rid of him, but Ten Hag really, I think, pushed for Onana, and I don't think Onana's been worth the 50 million, especially when that could easily have covered a contract for De Gea. If anything, you would have had a backup keeper to help switch it, help a smooth transition from like getting rid of De Gea, because he is old now. But it would have been a better transitional keeper rather than swapping it out for Onana. I know he was in the Champions League final that year, but in terms of his shot stopping, it hasn't been good enough. In recent games, he actually hasn't done that badly, but he's still quite clearly not a good shot stopper, and I don't think he ever will. And his distribution has been quite lackluster, I think. I don't think it's been anything special. He did help us, I think, in the Southampton win, where I think he saved a penalty and then we went on to win 3-0. Also helped in the Palace game, but in the Palace game, he does what I've seen from him since the start, is where he parries the ball into danger a lot of the time. So that double save was unneeded. Really, it was still a good save, don't get me wrong, but it was unneeded. The way and the amount of times he parries shots back into danger areas, honestly, it's glaringly obvious, and I don't understand why he hasn't been told to stop that or hasn't worked on it at all. I don't know. But De Gea single-handedly won his games like that quite regularly, and he's probably won us some competitions single-handedly, if not like the competition, like some games or key moments in those competitions. He did have a blip of errors at the end of his career before he got released, but I think that's just from being the main back line. He was literally the defense. The clean sheets were all him stopping shots. So obviously, if you're going to be doing that for so long, eventually you're gonna lose consistency, or you won't be able to keep it up for forever. And I think that's what happened with him. I'm not really a fan of the new age football, these inverted wing backs, these ball playing keepers. So I don't think it's that valuable having a ball playing keeper. Obviously, you want someone competent with the ball, confident with the ball, but I'm more traditional, and I'd rather have kept De Gea for these years, and he's showing that he's still good enough to be playing at a top team, and he definitely would have helped us, especially now the fact that we're in 14th. I think we'd be higher up based on just him making saves, because he would stop one-on-ones. He would stop every type of danger, except for maybe catching or coming out for crosses. So Ten Hag, speaking, being at 14th in the league, I wouldn't actually sell him yet. I wouldn't actually sack him. I don't think it's at the point where you need to sack him, because I don't see any good options. We haven't been really um we haven't been linked with anyone. I think Amarim and Thomas Frank have been the most recent managers that we've been linked with. We've also been linked with Tuchel, but I think that's all from Tuchel's side. I don't think we actually have any interest in signing Tuchel as manager. There's also been Southgate rumors. I'm not sure if those are true, but if we get Southgate, I'm not sure. I don't actually genuinely don't know what to do, because watching England under Southgate was bad. And watching this United team, which is bad as it is, doesn't literally get even worse. I don't know, because I enjoy goals, and Southgate is definitely not gonna bring us goals. In terms of talking about the replacements, if Ten Hag did get sacked, the manager I would most want is probably one that is unobtainable. I don't know really who I would get, but if I would were to make a list, it would be a manager that plays fullback, but I don't think many managers play a fullback anymore. So maybe I would just go for Nagelsmann, but he's managing the German team right now, I think, and I don't think he will be available at all. Tuchel, I'm not a fan of at all. I don't rate him as a manager. I know he won the Champions League with Chelsea, but I think that was he did he did play well to get to the final, but the final, I think Pep just absolutely capitulated, because he should have won that. He had the better team. I think he played two strikers and neither were strikers. I think that's what happened in that final. But also the goal was lucky. It was a Zinchenko mistake. But even then, Tuchel, if you don't win the league, the Bundesliga with Bayern, I just think that knocks you down so much to the point where I don't think he'll be able to do the Man United job. It's not an easy job, and even then, Tuchel is I just don't want him in general, to be honest, because at least at least with Ten Hag, he came from a one team league, and he could actually win the league with Ajax. But if you're not winning the league with Bayern in the Bundesliga, I know Dortmund, Leverkusen were definitely strong the year before. They almost went invincible, so it's not too bad of a loss to lose to that Leverkusen invincible team, or nearly invincible team. I can't quite remember. But even before that, that would take him a notch down. But even before that, I don't really enjoy his football. Amarim, I know he's like a new upcoming manager. I think he's like going to be the Pep replacement, because Pep did say he was leaving at the end of this year or next year, something like that. So I'm not a fan of Pep Pep football, and I think Amarim might have like elements of that. So, but I don't mind him, because I know he has a good relationship with Bruno, and hoping, because Bruno has not played well in a long while, so I'm hoping Amarin might be able to get the best out of Bruno, hopefully. And then Thomas Frank and like Marco Silva and like Gary O'Neill, they're Premier League managers who deserve probably shots at better jobs. I mean, I know Gary O'Neill's Wolves aren't doing well right now, but I do think Gary O'Neill is a good coach. I do think Thomas Frank is a good coach. They and Marco Silva and Thomas Frank, I think, have solidified um, Fulham and Brentford as Premier League teams now, which isn't easy to do. Especially now, you can see that the three promoted teams last year went down, and it looks like they're not having too much fun at the start of this year. Also, so it's not an easy thing to do. I know it's been harder now, but they do maybe deserve a better job. But like maybe with like Potter, they might just not be able to do it. They might not. It might be too big for them, and they might just flop. So I think I'm not sure. If I was them, I would like to have the ambition to go to a bigger club, but I would just try and wait and see for something a bit more mid-range, or like, somewhere where the club has ambitions to be like a top club, rather than a club that's like, for example, like Aston Villa. I think Emery deserved a big job. He didn't ever exactly go to the biggest job, but building up Aston Villa, he's done really well with that. And like, I think that's something that Thomas Frank and Marco Silva should look to do. But to be honest, Fulham looks like I think Fulham have made some decent moves. They bought Smith Rowe of Arsenal, so I think they might be going towards that. Try and make a bigger team, increase your stature. But overall, on the Ten Hag situation, I would just keep him. I know he's not got much time. I would understand why people want to sack him, but I just don't see a better option right now. And especially with Ineos taking over, there's financial issues. There's definitely financial issues. And I don't think they can afford to release Ten Hag, nor can they afford to sign a new manager. It'll cost millions. And that's millions we don't have, millions we didn't even have to spend on a left back, which is causing problems for us right now. Like, we're conceded so many goals down the left, and it's partly because of Rashford, but it's mostly because you're playing Delort at left back. And I know Delort has been putting in good performances up until like maybe the last 1 or 2 games, but he's just out of position, and not having a natural left foot at left back really causes problems. And I don't think you can entirely blame Dalot for that. And I don't think you can overlook something like that. I think not having a left, Malacia was never going to come back. He's been out for a year, and even if he did come back, he wouldn't be good. And Shaw has been out for nearly a year himself. But there was no way you had no idea that they wouldn't be fit. You knew they wouldn't be fit. Even last season, we had to loan Reguilon. And even then, we should have kept him for the whole season, because in the second half of the season, we didn't have a left back. So it's been a problem for so long. I don't know why we didn't do it. And at the start of the summer, we got rid of Alvaro Fernandez. I think he's on a loan to buy in Benfica. And I don't understand why you would do that when you had such a good option with such good potential right there in your club already. I really don't understand the decision making there. But if we want to talk about our most recent game, it was Aston Villa, and Ten Hag didn't even play most of his signings. His own signings did not play. It was Maguire Evans, which is that centre-back pairing from a few years ago. I think the Leicester centre-back pairing that actually won the league. And it actually quite shows, because they actually did quite well. I think Maguire went off injured, which is a bit sad, because he's been quite consistent over, I think, the last year. He's been putting in solid performances. I know he's not exactly what you want there, but he has been playing quite well. But Johnny Evans playing like that, this is again what I said with David De Gea. You have a player from the Fergie era. Their mentality is elite. They turn, like Fergie turned players, average players, into great players just through the mentality shift. And the mentality shift isn't there. The mentality that's been running through the club for these past decade is just not being good enough, and the team always capitulates. We need to see more from them, and it's not for a lack of trying. If it's for a lack of trying, then you're just not good enough at that point. So I don't exactly know why it is, but we need to be playing better in these situations. But Aston Villa at the moment are a better team than us. I don't know how they didn't win that game. It was a boring 0-0 draw, but they really should have won that game considering the actual caliber of team they are now. They are really a good team and we haven't been playing well. Talking about Johnny Evans' man of the match performance, talking about that mentality that he has, it's no longer at the club which is causing issues for us, or it's not there enough. We don't have enough leaders in their dressing room or something, except for maybe Bruno. And that's the thing with Bruno, he's the captain and it doesn't seem like there's any other suitable fit. And I don't think Bruno is the best captain. I think he's good, maybe second or third captain, but he's too emotional to be captain. So if he's emotional, he can't set the team straight. I also do like Delo and Garnacho. I like the mentality they have, and I think some of the other players do have it, but it just almost seems like the players are like tired of playing, like they've been worn down by something, and it's hard to see why it is. But enough of Manchester United, and to be honest, I think I've been speaking for quite a while now, so I might just go on to. I'll probably just try and wrap it up. There's only like what 5 or 6 minutes left. I just want to say what I'm going to talk about in the next episode, because the next episode is like another filler episode. I've seen Darwin Nunez come up on my screen quite a lot, so I might talk about him, as like I enjoy watching him play, so I want to talk about that, probably link it to strikers in the league like Isaac, Watkins, Haaland, what they're all good at, because they're all, I think, pretty different types of strikers at that point, them four especially. I might even talk about Rasmus and what I think he can become. But looking at the packs I've been opening as well, I want to talk about pack luck. And what reminds me of the packs when I'm been opening these packs, I got Salah pretty early on last year. And I want to talk about how disrespected Salah is as one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen. And the fact that I don't think he's ever been nominated in the top 3 for a Ballon d'Or. And then I might even eventually talk about the Ballon d'Or race this year, which will lead me on to probably, I want to talk about England. I was talking about Southgate in this one, so I want to go into more depth about the England team. And also that will take me into the Nations League, because I was planning on ending this with like the game show style stuff. The Guess Who, I probably might not end up doing that. I might just talk about the players that I get to play with in the foot draft, because hopefully I do get some high level players and I can like review those players or something while the foot draft's over. But while the SBCs and the packs are opening, I will probably do predictions. And I wanted to talk about the Nations League, because that's the only football going on right now, except for the lower leagues in the English league, of course, like the Championship and League One and League Two. But I don't understand the point of the Nations League and how, like, I don't think even some of the players want to be there. I think they're just doing it because they're on holiday. It's like going 5-a-side with your mates just to, make sure, keep your fitness up, get some cardio in for the week or something. So I don't think I don't know anyone's like there to win the Nations League is just like a kickabout for fun. I don't know, because there's been a Nations League for like, I think nearly a decade now. Like I don't know how is it every 4 years, every 2 years? I don't know even when it is. Like the two main national competitions are the Euros and the World Cup. So I want to talk about that considering it's the international break. But then by Friday, I should be able to predict the Premier League because it's coming back. And I think that will put me through a fair few time in the next episode, which is around the same length as this one. But I haven't edited the first one. That's going to come out today also as well. So it's going to be 3 in 1 just for the catch up and then the actual initial start. I haven't edited that, but hopefully that's around 50 to 20, maybe 25 minutes. It's just going to be the squad battle, so it'll be pretty easy to cut down. It'll be like 8 matches, and I think this is around 8 matches in this video also. So I'll try and see if I can cut it down even more. But if it's ending up to be 30 minutes every episode, I guess I'll just have more to talk about. Because I started late, I didn't get to really run through my predictions of the Premier League, and there's a bit of hindsight also, so I can tell you where I've already been wrong from what I initially predicted to be the Premier League table. So I'm hoping I don't get to that until the actual episode, and in the second episode I might try and talk about maybe like the managers, because I have been talking about Ten Hag. So next episode probably we'll talk about the England national team, Nunez, Salah, the Ballon d'Or. I'll also talk about the managers if that's not enough time. But here to wrap this up, I think we've got a full Premier League team. It's just not all of them are rare. I'm going to upgrade it a little bit, and by the end of the next episode, I think the Nunez evolution will be done, and I'll start another evolution. I don't think I'll get through all the evolutions. I planned also, I think, a Gravenberg evolution to do the octopus on him also. There was 2 evolutions, but I don't think I'm gonna get to the octopus evolution because I don't have the coins for it, and I don't want to use the FIFA points on it, as I said. But by the end of the next episode, we'll have our Premier League starter team. But that's it for this episode. So I guess I'll hit you with an outro. I don't actually have one yet, so considering my intro is hello there, I guess farewell sounds well. Well, I might just cut it off. I do like abrupt endings sometimes to videos. They're actually quite funny, but I usually tend to fade mine out. So I guess we'll just end it with farewell.